Hi everyone,
Welcome to Figuring It Out. It's your host, Rita Wamboy.
Lucky Gondu, and it's our first episode.
Woo!
Woo! How are you feeling, Wamboy, about this first
I
episode?
am so excited and I am so nervous at the same time. How about
Same,
you?
yeah. It's so nerve wracking. I feel like should I start? Yeah, it's just confusing, but I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. So welcome, and thank you for choosing to listen to us today. So what are we
Awesome.
speaking about today?
We are going to dive deep into self awareness. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
know nobody is like 100% self aware, but we're just trying to figure out what that is,
Yeah.
how you become more self aware,
Yeah.
what are the small things you can do. And if we think
Yeah.
me and you are self aware.
Yeah, but as we said in our introduction, this is just our stories, our understanding. We are not developing a Bible that you need to follow. If you that insights that you feel like you can take out of this, well and good, and also just share with, your feedback with us so that we can also get to learn from you. So yeah, I think we
Awesome.
can dive in now. Yeah. So let me ask,
Yeah.
what when was the first time you ever heard the word self awareness?
Hmm. Self awareness. I think when I was in primary, when we were
Mm,
doing, because when I was in class 8, we had the whole episodes with our English teacher
yeah.
where she'd come and talk to you about being a girl and all that. So
Yeah.
now when I think about it,
Yeah.
I think about it in terms of them helping us become self-aware, but as a gender, you know.
Mm,
So that's the first time I had the word self-awareness, but being
yeah.
self-aware as a girl, not being self-aware as an
Just
individual. How
oh
about you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a self awareness because we used to have when I was also in primary, we used to have classes on life skills,
Mm-hmm.
where we were taught about self awareness. I could actually like totally remember what we were taught, but I think it was just generally they just used to say just knowing yourself,
Yeah.
and also being a child at that time and a kid. It used to happen like once maybe in a month or in a week. I really didn't like take it so seriously.
Yeah.
I thought knowing yourself is like knowing which
It was not
subjects you're
graded.
good at, what are your weaknesses. How you're told like if you're good at math, you should put more effort there. You should know which are your strengths, your
Yeah.
weaknesses. So it was about your performance. It was about, as you've said, gender. So as a girl,
Mm-hmm.
these are your weaknesses or it's a
Sure.
strength. So I think awareness has been taught so outwardly than it has been taught inwardly as a person.
Yeah.
Like you should know what makes you happy. You should know what and even when someone is asking you like what course do you want to do, then you say I don't know, call like how do we you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like okay, so and that's because you have not been taught to be very introspective, and most times we end up like identifying ourselves with a lot of outward stuff or what you've been told or what you've heard. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that has been my first interaction about self-awareness. So actually let's read what is self-awareness. So according to understood.org, they say self-awareness is the ability to tune into your feelings, thoughts, and actions. Being self-aware also means being able to recognize how other people see you.
Mm-hmm.
People who are self-aware recognize their strengths and their challenges. Yeah, so that's what understood.org says self-awareness is. What is self-awareness to you, Rita?
For me, self awareness is being like aware and conscious of my individuality, like being conscious of what in my head is Rita and what is not Rita. You know
Yeah.
how sometimes, and I've had, I don't know if I've ever told you, like, there's sometimes I feel like there's a me inside of me
Yeah.
who is like, girl, that's wrong, or that's
Yeah.
not who we are. So I think being aware of that person inside of me
Yeah.
who like helps me now make decisions for me without any other like person or society or anything. It's
Yeah.
just me based and it makes me happy before it
Mm,
makes anybody
Anybody
else
else
feel
happy?
any other way.
Yeah. So for me, self-awareness is just the recognition
Mm-hmm.
of a person who is Leah. And this is Leah in all her different dimensions,
Yeah.
whether that's as they said, careers and stuff, but also in terms of her reactions and response to different things in her life, and down to um her values and what are not her values.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a reflection of exactly who is Leah, the inner person, before she's the outward what everyone else says she is, right?
Yeah.
And also understand self-awareness. I think just understanding myself and being very honest about truths about myself,
Yeah.
whether that's good or bad, being also able to kind of catch myself when I'm like, when I say something, and then being able to see how that has affected me, or how that has affected the other person. So I
Yeah.
kind of agree with Anderson. It's like self-awareness is not just about you. It's actually understanding yourself to be able to understand others.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'd say self-awareness is. Do you think you're self-aware?
Wow.
Sure.
I know I have come across the term so many times
Yeah.
in the books, the internet, and all
Yeah.
that. But personally, I've always had the sense of having another me inside of me. So, which I think is my essence.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've never, like, it took time for me to be like, okay, now I need to sit down with my essence and really listen, or really like try to feel what she wants me to feel, that kind of
Yeah.
internal
Yeah.
conversation. And it's not easy, but the way I grew up, it was good to have like yourself at the corner, like to
Yeah.
have somebody rooting. And that for me made me realize I am becoming more aware, because when something happens in my like family,
Yeah.
I go to myself.
First.
Yeah, and then I'm like, how, like, I start processing how I felt,
Yeah.
why I felt it, and then because I've recognized, I try to put myself far from that situation, such that I'm not there. So I think that, like, when I look at all like how I've been progressively, I think I've been
Yeah.
self-aware,
Yeah.
maybe self-aware in terms of trying to protect myself from hurt, rather than trying to learn and deal with it in a healthy
Yeah.
way, but just
Yeah.
being self-aware in knowing what I like, knowing what hurts me, but not trying to unlearn some things that are not good for my awareness.
Yeah, yeah, very true. I think I agree. I was actually listening to a TED talk as we prepared for this conversation, and they it was Tasha Urich. The topic is on self awareness, and she said that 95% of us think that we're actually self-aware, but actually just 10 to 15% are actually aware. So most of us think we're self-aware, we think, we know it, we know
Yeah.
who we are and stuff like that, but actually just 10 to 15% are actually really aware about who they actually are. And for me, do I think I'm self-aware? I think I'm learning more about being self-aware,
Yeah.
right? And I'm understanding what it means to me personally. I think in terms of my journey to self-awareness, I I went through a traumatic experience when I was young, right? And I didn't like learn how to process it then. And so as I've been growing up, I've been doing things, I've been leadership in school and doing all these things. But until I was like around 19 years, that's when I started recognizing
Yeah.
how what actually informs my behavior, what actually informs my reaction and my response, and it's actually roots a lot from what happened to me when I was a kid. And also the kind of personality I've built across the years has come from that experience,
Yeah.
and me thinking that I just have myself to kind of root for myself. Like I don't most times expect like other people to root for me. If they root for me, it's a good feeling, but I'm there first rooting for myself because I
Yeah.
feel like I have to be there for myself first because of what happened. So through that, I didn't recognize until now when I was like at around 19, 20. Yes, I had the recognition, but I didn't do anything about it. So I
Yeah.
still continued with the same reaction, responses, just maybe the same feeling. And as you said, intuition, when your intuition says no, you're like, no, this is what I know. And
Yeah.
this is a comfort for me. And so right now, I feel like I know now, I understand what happened, I understand how that informs my reaction. But now I'm able to know how to be a better person from this information. I'm able to now, this now like gaining insight. Now I have insight. Now I can be able to make a better decision. And I can also be able to empower my inner self and trust myself better now because
Yeah.
I'm able to understand myself better, right? And initially you'd feel like, oh, this situation has hurt me. And then you'd be like, but I cannot remove myself from the situation because what about them? How will they feel?
Yeah.
What about this? What about that? What about that? And not actually being very truthful about how that situation has actually made you feel, right? So you just like step out
Yeah.
of it, but then now make everyone happy and never come back to kind of deal with what actually happened with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
when you mention like becoming self-aware makes you like trust yourself, I think that's a very big and very valid point.
Yeah.
Because when you you know, when you set goals for yourself, or when
Yeah.
you think about what you want to do or who you want to associate with, maybe you're making New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
If you're in tune with yourself and you start doing those things, you're good. But then when you, even if you don't, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're not good, but you
Yeah.
need to trust yourself to be aware that you
Yeah.
haven't kept your word to yourself,
Yeah.
and then shift it. Because I was thinking around how when you continually silence yourself, like your inner self,
Yeah.
you lose trust in your inner self.
Yeah.
So you no longer trust that what you plan you will actually do.
Yes,
You don't
yes.
forgive yourself. So I think being self-aware and knowing sometimes you don't do what you had said you would do,
Yeah.
but having the grace to forgive yourself also is an aspect of being self-aware. Like you
Yeah.
don't need to be ticking all the boxes of self-awareness and not messing. I think trust is a big thing when you're becoming self-aware.
Yeah, I think that's a very good thing that you've said because what happens with self-awareness when you're not self-aware, you continuously self-betray yourself. And so when you set something to do and you don't do it, the reason why
Yeah.
you're not gracious with yourself is because you don't know, you have not gained an understanding of yourself to also kind of put your goals to what you can be able to achieve
Yeah.
at that certain point, right? Or
And
know
what you
why
want.
and know what exactly you want.
Yeah.
And self-betrayal is huge because self-betrayal brings around shame, right? And so you'll always feel like you're not good enough, you're not who you need to be. You feel like you always need to be someone else
Yeah.
because you don't feel very confident with yourself. And self-awareness helps you build that confidence back. And when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're able to be more gracious with
Yeah.
yourself. You're able to recognize, oh yeah, this used to happen. I was unable to achieve this, but I think I can do better.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of also hold yourself when you're about to kind of betray yourself, if I may
Yeah.
say.
Like you see the pattern.
Yeah, if you're
towards
seeing
you
the
betraying
pattern,
yourself.
yeah, you can actually now realize the pattern that you have had. And when you're self-aware, it can help you now be like, okay, I've been doing this. So what do I need to change about this, right?
Yeah.
There's something I wanted to read from a book. One of the books I think that is really helping us to become more self-aware is
Do the work.
how to do the work. Yeah. And it's a really amazing book. And it touches a lot about how to build our consciousness, how to become more self-aware, how to deal with our trauma. It's something that we're going to be getting into. And it says the reality is a few of us have any real connection to who we really are, yet we want others to see through all our layers of self-betrayal and into our core.
Yeah.
Right? So we want not most of us have a real connection with ourselves, to be truthful. We want connections with everyone else.
Yeah.
But we can't even stand being alone with ourselves.
It's too quiet.
It's too quiet, it's too weird, it's too awkward. And I feel like that's what self-awareness brings out, right?
Yeah.
And also that's how you get to also have better and authentic connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very valid. When you are more aware of even the energy you want, you're able to attract or even make friends with that energy.
Yeah.
Instead of, if you're not aware, you have every kind of energy and you're not even able to maintain friendships. And it's not that you don't want, but that energy is not your energy.
Yeah,
So
very
I think
true.
that's very
true.
important.
I think we have actually even just started highlighting reasons why it's important for you to be self-aware. I think when it helps you trust yourself better, it kind of helps build your intuition better. So actually what to say is I think you're referring to as the inner Rita is your intuition. And when you constantly disregard your intuition, you're never in a position to trust it even in future, or you'll never be able to kind of hear it,
Yeah.
right? Because you have silenced it so many times that you don't even recognize when it's prompting you to not do something or do something or tell you go for it. I think this the second one. Have you mentioned the second one? In terms of why it is important, I think it also helps be more aware about yourself. Yeah. So you kind of recognize the kind of patterns that you have, and you think these patterns you're able to like hold yourself and work on it. You're able to break a pattern, you're able to break a cycle, like identifying. I've been in all these relationships.
Yeah.
You are the constant person in all these relationships.
Yeah.
So what has been happening? What is your contribution to these relationships? And it's very hard because we always want to be the victim, if I may say so. I'm saying it in a small voice. I don't want people coming for me. But the truth is in most of these situations, we always have something that we also contribute, but we don't sit down to think about, okay, what was my part in this and how can I become better in the situation?
Yeah.
And I think the third thing we have also mentioned is that apart from patterns, what's the that thing?
Did we mention a bad thing?
Yeah, I feel like we have. But anyway, I think we can continue with,
Okay.
what are something else you think is a benefit of self-awareness?
I think another one is being able to attract like is I want to say authentic love, but going towards saying attracting the kind of love you deserve.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're self-aware, you know what you would I think handle.
Yeah.
You know how they say like God only gives you something you can handle and all that.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you're self-aware, you know your capacity to love somebody,
Yeah.
and you know how much love you need. You know how you want to be communicated to love, and you know how to communicate to that person. This is how I expect love, and this is how I give love.
Yeah.
Like to have those conversations. And I feel like when you're self-aware, you don't approach love in terms of needing like somebody's affirmation or needing
Validation.
like validation and all that, but you approach love in a sense of it teaching you how to trust, teaching you how to evolve, to become more fully yourself within that relationship, so you do not get lost in the relationship, such that you can stand and say, okay, this is what I like doing, and this is what my partner likes doing. I can compromise up to this level, but I need to keep my essence as well. So I think it teaches you how to trust and attract love that is actually that helps you grow and become more fully who you are.
Yeah, and I think I think just love, even friendships. Being very self-aware, you can be able to identify what friendships are bringing in value, how you can also give value to the other people in your life, and how to build better connection, right? And also it makes you not, as you've said, it makes you see others from a different light, because now you're not just a reactive person to things. Now you're actually responding to things, and you're actually being able to be more gracious and more kind, because you're more gracious and more kind to yourself, right? Because when you're not that, you're like, when somebody does something to you, first thing is you want to react, you want to call them out, you want. But when you realize you're the person who, if something happens like this, you fire up. Now when you're aware about that, you're able to be like, okay, I'm about to call out these people in a very good way, and I'll calm down and be able to say, okay, Wanjiro, you don't know who Wanjiro is, you have done this and this to me, and I felt this kind of way, right? You're able to even communicate better with your friendship. And I think also putting boundaries, right? Because I feel like for me, when the more I'm becoming self-aware, I'm able to put very strict boundaries, or not even strict, not in terms of like, you cannot do this, you cannot do this to me, but I'm able to communicate my boundaries much better, and I'm able to recognize where I also need boundaries, right? Because boundaries is a two-way thing. If you recognize that you don't respect other people's boundaries, they won't also respect your boundaries. So me being able to respect other people's boundaries and also me identifying that I also need boundaries for certain relationships to kind of work well,
Yeah.
right? And this can be a relationship with family, with friends, even in romantic relationships. You need healthy boundaries for it
Yeah.
to be able to work well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
also think so. And even boundaries in situationships. Like
Yes.
just being able to say, this is up to this point, we
Yeah,
cannot do this, or up to this point, we cannot discuss this.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
that kind of boundary
yeah.
really helps you maintain your essence, like yourself within that relationship. Because I feel it's
True.
easy to get lost in relationships that don't have like a, you know how you're saying you're just winging it
Yeah, we're
and seeing
just
how,
doing it.
yeah, but you're not like trying to say, okay, this is how, yes, I'm winging it, but I need to also make sure I am okay with
Yeah,
what is happening in that
yeah.
setup. So I think that's
I
important.
I also want to add another point is that self-awareness help you understand your traumas.
Yeah, that was my point.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I think Unagi, we kind of connect in the minds, right? Uh, so for me, understanding my trauma has been one of the biggest ways in which I have come to understand myself. Because a lot of how we react and respond,
Yeah.
when it was to me niko tu hivi, me I'm just like this, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of it stems from somewhere, and for me understanding my trauma, and we'll have an episode on like what is trauma, what and how to deal with that, has really helped me become more self-aware. So it's like both and me first recognizing that, oh, actually there's something I think I need to deal with, now becoming aware about that, and now becoming aware about how that trauma informs the person I am and the kind of decisions and choices and personality I've built around myself.
Yeah.
So self-awareness really helps you understand things that really hurt you, or things that affected you in a way that it kind of informs the kind of person you are. And sometimes because of those things, most times trauma are things that really hurt us. We want to usually dig a hole
Yeah, like put it in a box
and
and
put in a
bury it.
box and bury it. But you being able to recognize that and bring it to the front and dealing with it makes you a better person. Because a lot of our trauma also is tied with shame. It's tied with the reason why we self-betray ourselves. It's tied with all those things. And kind of dealing with that sets you free. You know, you become more free. You become more into your own person.
Yeah.
You're able to let that go. Because at the end of the day, it's not what happened to you that kind of dictates who you can dictate who you want to be going forward. You can decide today you want to be a different person, and you can actually be that person. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like just on the same topic of trauma, like when you are, because trauma mostly, and let's be truthful, is usually caused by the people closest. So
Yeah.
like your immediate dad, mom, your siblings, like it's caused. I think the reason why it's trauma for
Yeah,
most
it's
people,
because
because there are people who are caused trauma by external
yeah,
factors, like
yeah,
maybe you're raped
yeah,
somewhere or
yeah,
something like that. But when it's more closer to home,
yeah,
it's hard to deal with it. And even when you are in your journey of becoming self-aware, there are
yeah.
places you don't want to touch
Yes.
because it also ties into boundaries. You don't know
Yeah.
how to put boundaries with the people closest to you, yet they're the ones who've caused you the most trauma.
Yeah.
So I think being self-aware helps you see, and even if you're not able to deal with it at that time,
Yeah.
continually do small steps
Yeah.
that put you in a position to kind of communicate what hurt you and to the person who hurt you,
Yeah.
and then being able to heal from it. And if you're not able to get access to the person who hurt you,
Yeah.
small steps to forgiving yourself.
Self, yes.
Because at times you're like,
True.
maybe it's me. If when you're a kid, you're like, maybe I didn't like
Yeah.
study hard enough. Maybe it's my fault.
Yeah.
So forgiving yourself, like your
Yeah.
inner child, and
Yeah.
allowing yourself to now move forward.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
trauma is such a big topic to unpack.
Yes, yes, yes. And let me say something that self-awareness is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Because it's about you being truthful with yourself. And this not being
And it's
truthful like
hard.
I am good in this and I'm good in that. It's sitting down and saying, oh, today I shouted at someone and that was not good and I need to apologize for it.
Yeah.
Right? It's about saying, I think I should have reacted to this situation better, and being kind, compassionate with yourself, and then also relaying that to the other person and saying, oh, I'm sorry that I did this and this. And if you are not if you don't bring that self-awareness, you'll never know when you have hurt other people. You'll not even recognize that you have actually hurt
Like you
them.
will be very
Yeah, it's like,
what's the word? Like you're not
yeah,
conscious.
you're not
You're
conscious,
just
right?
going through life.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know. I was doing something today. I was drinking soda. I know it's not healthy, but I was drinking soda, but I didn't recognize
Yeah.
that I was drinking soda. I actually went, bought soda, and was drinking it. And then when I bought the small one,
Yeah.
and then when I was almost through, I'm like, why am I drinking soda? Like
Yeah.
I didn't even remember how that, and I was like, why have I been so like today in the morning? I wasn't as self-aware or conscious
Conscious. Yeah.
as I would have wanted to be, and I think
Yeah.
that also helps when
Yeah.
you are on your self-awareness journey.
Yeah.
You recognize when you are conscious
And when
and
you're
not conscious.
subconscious.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that you're
yes,
able to
yes.
be like you need to be continually conscious,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that every decision you make is made from you being authentic and not just you going through life like it's
Yeah.
just no.
Yeah, actually, part of self-awareness is about bringing your consciousness. Most times we
Yeah.
live in our subconscious. We wake up, we have a routine. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to the kitchen, you make tea, you make coffee, and then you're just at work. You can't even tell a story of how you even got to
Yeah,
work.
it's like,
you
how
know
Rita, how was your weekend?
how's your weekend?
Yeah.
You can't even recollect what happened in the weekend. It's because most times we're in our subconscious, and we are not so conscious about ourselves, about our environment. It just can be just as something like cleaning the house, right? So if I caught and told you, oh, you're cleaning the house, and that you are not even conscious that umetoka sitting room, you're already in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You're just moving, right? And that's what we do in our lives. We just move through life so subconsciously. But when you start bringing awareness or being conscious about our day to day, about the activities, how are you feeling? You'll never know how you feel about something until you're conscious about it,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Yeah, if you're not there mentally, if you're not there, you are never going to recognize that, oh, this is not something I like, or this is something I like, right? Because you're not very conscious. So I think part of self-awareness is about being conscious to things that you're doing, to the activities, to your
Environment.
feelings, to your mind, to your thoughts. And I think also one thing we forget is that our thoughts are not us,
Yeah.
essentially. Our thoughts are our thoughts. And does not mean that the fact that you have thought about something, you actually have to act on it,
Yeah.
right?
You need to decide.
You need to decide whether that's a thought that you want to tolerate, or that's a thought that you want to, throw it in the dustbin. So we are not our thoughts,
Yeah.
right? And most of the times we usually want to say, or we want to act on a thought. We always think that our thoughts are ourselves. The fact that you're thinking about something, you have to do it. Or the fact that your mind has told you, oh, don't go there, or don't do this because this is afraid. That's not it. That you can decide, no, I'm actually going to wake up at this time
Yeah.
because I need this done. Because we are not our thoughts. We are our minds are very strong, but we also have a choice to choose differently every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think just to close this up for the points,
Yeah.
I saw a post on LinkedIn where a lady mentioned where she was thinking through things she needs to do during the week. You know how you have your to-do list on
Yeah.
Monday for things you need to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, this is what I need to do for me. This is what I need to do for work.
Yeah.
And this is something I can do for
Yeah.
other people, but it's not it's not serving me.
Yeah.
And it's not like that big of a priority.
Yeah.
It's for other people, like to people please or
Yeah.
something like that. Then she found that ticking off what she wants and what because job is also something she
Yeah.
like it's part of her, so it's obviously something she needs to do. So ticking off what she wants for herself, ticking off what she needs to do for work, and then those two things give her fulfillment and satisfaction, and she was able to easily do it.
Yeah.
But ticking off these things that people are asking of her to do, but they are not really important. Like for her, those are not important things. Like they do not serve her. They're like maybe paying for your sister's rent because she messed up again and lost her job, and you need to do that.
Yeah.
Like deprioritizing things that show a pattern of continually draining you, and then prioritizing things that are for your growth
Yeah.
and what have you. I felt like that lady has a lot of self-awareness. Like if you write down, this is for me, this serves my work, this serves my purpose, this serves my being, this one drains me, removes the energy out of me. Like just it messes up my life, it brings noise and chaos, so I will deprioritize this.
Yeah.
I felt that showed a lot of self-awareness
Yeah.
and a lot of self-love,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Choosing
putting yourself,
yourself.
exactly, choosing
Yeah.
yourself before every other thing
Yeah.
is also a way, like you can intentionally be like
Yeah.
self-aware.
So things that I think you can do to become more self-aware. For me, being alone and sitting with myself has been one of the things that
Wow.
have been made me more self-aware. I know my housemate, who is my host, I'm not shouting, is here saying, "Okay, Sawa, okay, yeah," but I love being alone. At first, it might have been weird, but when I'm alone, I'm able to sit with my thoughts. I'm able to talk to myself. I'm able to actually realize patterns, and I'm able to be more truthful with myself. Because now in my space, it's just me. And I also, the other day I was listening to Jay Shetty, and he was saying it's important, even if you're living with someone, to have a time for yourself.
Yeah.
Put out time for yourself. Like for us, we can be in the same house and not talk for a whole day, and it's okay, and it's fine because you don't always need to be
To say something.
to say something, to be around people all the time. You can just put that space to be with yourself, because that's the time when all these things come up. You can,
Yeah.
when you're just silent with your thoughts, that's when you know, oh, I'm feeling this way, or remember something that happened during the week, or something of the sort. So being alone, just setting time to just be with yourself and your thoughts, can help you become more aware about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the other thing?
I think the other thing is journaling. I think
Yeah.
journaling really helps, and not like writing a whole bunch of stuff, like process, like writing everything from how your day started to how, like, you don't have to fill your journal with every minute of the day, but picking out those things in the day that really sparked maybe an emotion, reminded you
Yeah.
of something, tapped into a trauma you had,
Yeah.
made you happy,
Yeah.
like made you smile, like an email.
Yeah.
This week I saw a message from one of my colleagues saying you need to give as much grace as you want to receive, and I
Yeah.
really liked that.
Yeah.
So like being able to write down or talk it out on your journal. I
Yeah.
use an app called Reflectly, and you can talk or you can type it out. So I feel journaling, writing down can help you like
Yeah.
become self-aware, because you write down, you write down
Yeah.
you write down how you felt, how you processed
Yeah.
it, how maybe you would have done it better. So
Yes.
you become more aware of how you are thinking through the day,
Mm.
what was a tick for Rita and what was not Rita. Like what did you
Yeah.
do was that was not you during the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So it helps you unlearn some things and learn new things.
Yeah. And I think also with journaling is also recognizing things that you need to become, to work on.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is not just about praising, and I think I've said this so many times. It's also about recognizing things that you also need to work on. If you are rude to people,
Yeah.
then that's, Trasamanga, but that's how I talk, but that's how I am,
Yeah.
but that's actually something that you need to work
Work
on,
on.
right? To become a better person, people need to feel loved and seen around you, right? And you
Yeah.
cannot be that if you are not ready to also kind of put in the work
Yeah.
to become a better and healthier person. I think the other thing is meditation. And I know you've had this, and these things are becoming more popular. For me, meditation
Yeah.
and also breath work, it can be either,
Oh yeah.
helps you center your mind, right? And then in this world of chaos, kidogo, WhatsApp, Instagram, work, everything, your friends, you need to work hard, all those things in a whole day. Your whole day can be like with 20 activities, right? Just sitting down and just breathing for like 5 minutes can really help. Can really help just calm you, and now become, even bring a lot of things, of more things into like consciousness. Now you can be like, oh, I
Yeah.
think I've spent too much time on social media. Just being like, okay, 5 minutes out,
Yeah.
just breathing in and breathing out, just bringing yourself together in a way, because it feels like you're sparse and
Yeah.
all this thing,
Scattered.
you're scattered,
Yeah.
and just bringing yourself back. Breathwork really works magic. For me, it has. Even when you're anxious, when you're feeling like, my God, something is about to happen, or just you're feeling anxious, breathing can really, really help. And also just sitting down with yourself and just taking time to just put a hold in the world.
Yeah.
Taking like 5 minutes out and then just like going back again can make you not feel as scattered, as
Yeah.
anxious, as reactive as you'd probably be. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I also think um being safe enough to ask for feedback. You know how you progressively become better at work because of feedback, right?
Yeah.
So I also think asking trusted people for feedback
Yes,
on
yes.
some aspect.
Trusted is the word.
Trust keyword highlight.
Yeah.
Like trust, asking people that you trust. If you are maybe your goal for self-awareness this month is to listen more,
Yeah.
like to be an active listener.
Yeah.
So after we have a conversation, I can come and ask you, do you think I listened
Yeah.
to what you were telling me? Like I
Yeah.
didn't just come in and like I'm on my
Blah, blah.
phone and I'm like, oh, that's kawaida, just
Aman is the listening and then you're already talking. Like
yeah.
the
Like
hearing and
you're
then
not
you're
processing.
not
You
processing
just
it.
want to like maybe solve my problem instead of listening.
Yeah.
So I feel like asking those people that you trust if they think you're reaching your goal of whatever it is that you've said.
Yeah.
So not exactly telling them all the details of your journey and self-awareness,
Yes.
but just saying, okay, Leah, this week or this month or this year, I'm working on actually doing what I say I will do. So if I say I'm going to be here at 3 to do the podcast, so did I do that? Did you feel like I was present?
Yeah.
So asking for feedback helps you also in the journey to continually, it helps you also trust yourself.
Yes.
Because if you say, oh, Rita, I think you listened,
Yeah.
I am thankful for whatever, then I'm like, oh, so I am really keeping my own word.
Yeah.
So I think that's really
There's something Jeshita said, and I think I always try to practice it. Maybe I've not been able to be very consistent. Is always write how you write your to-dos, write how your to-bes, right? So if you want to be more truthful, write that as something that you want to achieve and see whether you can actually achieve that, right? And because that makes it like, if you know your to-do is something that you're acting on. Also your to-dos have to be something that you're acting on, right? My to-be maybe this month maybe being a better listener. My to-bes can be to act more calmly in a rough situation. So having your to-bes can help you. Writing your to-bes down can constantly remind you what you need to be actively towards active that you need to actively work towards, right? And this can be like you have your to-dos for the day and then like what are my to-dos for the day. So as you're taking off your to-dos, you can now be marking out your to-bes really for the day. So are you focused if that's your to-be for the day? You're a good listener. So it kind of helps you know where you are with the different to-bes that you want to be. Yes.
I love that. I really love that.
Yes. So I think that's what we had for today. So we told you the importance of why you need to be self-aware, and it's a continuous journey. Why? Because we keep on changing. We are always in different environments. Today, maybe you think your love language, becoming more self-aware, you think that your love language is a gift, until somebody comes and does an act of service, and you'll be like,
mine today was food.
Yeah, maybe I think, or maybe your best favorite food today is chicken. Tomorrow you taste something else from a different place and like up and now it's changed. And you're allowed to change, and you're allowed to kind of grow into the person that you think you are. And so don't feel restricted to just being what you've been told to be. And I know our society, we are Africans. I know sometimes it's hard to kind of put those boundaries to just become your own person, and it can be very, very draining. And that's why the self-awareness journey is not easy. It's really, really hard sometimes, but it's also very, very rewarding and very, very fruitful. And even the people around you, those who are giving you a hard time during your transition of becoming more self-aware, they actually will appreciate, because now you become a better, honest version of yourself. They might not see it at that time, but as you continue, they'll kind of create a respect for you because you are just being you and your authentic self. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is to be happy, and to feel peace with yourself. To just feel like you belong in you, and not just like being everywhere. So for me, I think it's a wonderful journey, and I'm happy that I'm actually at this time and at this age that I'm in, I'm learning to be more conscious of who I am as an Aslea. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very,
What
very
is your
true.
parting shots?
My parting shot is, it's not about searching for who Rita
Yeah.
is, it's about creating who I want to be.
Yeah.
So you are what you continually do. Like you are your habits.
Yeah.
So if you now start creating habits of being more honest, being more truthful, being more present,
Yeah.
that is who you are. Don't condition yourself to say, oh, but they've said I've always been a liar.
Yeah.
Start unlearning, so that those kinds of things,
Yeah.
and then I'll create who you want to be. So at the end of the year, you're
Yeah.
like, this year I have really been a better friend, been a better partner,
Yeah.
been a better mom,
Yeah.
and all those aspects. So it's not about who Rita is already, it's about creating Rita continually.
Yeah, and I also think it's about consistency. Consistency is key to any building any new habit, becoming a better version of yourself. So even if today you slack, like I say, for me, the fact that I showed up at the gym, the fact that I woke up and I was at the gym, for me that's a plus.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow I woke up, went to the gym, and did 10 reps. You know, woke up to the gym, went for 10 minutes, and I'm done. Like, it's about showing up for yourself in the littlest of ways, right? And you can break that down, that huge goal, into small achievable goals for the day, because you need to feel good and start trusting yourself. And you can sometimes trusting yourself with the big things can be hard because you feel like they're either talking, they're taking too much time. But trusting yourself with your small things, today you woke up at a certain time that you said you're going to wake up. That's a plus. And say, tap yourself in the back and say, oh, today I actually did well. And you can only know that you're actually improving when you journal these things down, you write them down.
Yeah.
You have like an accountability person who kind of, you have these conversations with. That's how I feel like you can know whether you're actually unlearning, learning, and growing. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And enjoy the journey. And we are happy to be here with you. Share with us, give us feedback. What has your self-awareness journey been? What are you learning? What are you unlearning? Yeah, and this is a community. You are not alone. Even when you slack, know that there are other people also trying to be the better versions of themselves. Yeah, and it's a day-to-day, minute-to-minute thing. Yes.
So as we part, please follow us at Fio Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter. We'll also be posting our content on LinkedIn soon. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you are following us. Share with your parents. Share with your partner. Share with your friend. Share with your roommate. So that even as you are becoming self-aware and growing within yourself, you also impact other people to be on the journey.
And they also
with
know
you.
that you're in that journey.
So it's not just self.
Yes.
It's everybody awareness.
Yes. So thank you and bye. See you in the next episode.
Bye.
Woo.